Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Hello. Oh, boy. Whoa. Yeah. How's that? Everything's good?
Everything's perfect.
Okay, good.
Everything's copacetic.
I don't know what that is. Stop using big words. You used a big word that I didn't understand just now. Greg Wyshynski did in his article today, and I just feel like a stupid person.
Well, you should.
I have a minor in English.
I do too.
That's right.
And look what I've done with it.
With all kinds of things.
I've learned the word copacetic.
What is copacetic?
Copacetic means groovy.
Why couldn't you just say groovy? How do you make the word groovy uncool?
Copacetic's cooler than groovy.
It's very not.
I 100% disagree.
Hi, everyone. Yes, welcome to the Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast. I'm your host, Steve Dangle. Adam Wilde is, I almost said sick. That's not true at all. He's moving today, so he's busy. Young Jesse Blake is behind the boards.
Hello.
How are you? How does it feel to be in the grown-up chair? Because I've never got to sit in the grown-up chair. Only you and Adam.
Do you want to sit here?
Let's trade.
Do you want to trade?
Right now. Yeah. Okay, dead air. Okay, that's good.
So
yeah, this is neat.
Yeah, for anybody listening, we just switched seats. If you were listening with a stereo headphone, where nothing has changed.
How does that look? The bars
look great.
The bzz.
Yeah.
And
the waveforms.
as I'm sitting here, the waveform. Thank you.
Yeah,
very good. Well, okay. So in first year, I remember learning about all this and immediately going, "Well, I'm not gonna. I'm definitely not getting into that."
So which path did you go? Did you take EFP and studio, or did you do digital media and EFP, or studio and EFP?
See, I think your version of the program is completely different from the one I was in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so okay. When I was in digital media, was basically just Flash. And after my first Flash project, I was like, "Welp, not this." And so I did EFP Studio.
EFP Studio. Okay, so it's kind of similar.
With
if you know
with
what
a
I'm
bias
talking
towards
about.
EFP.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't even remember what it.
Electronic field production.
That's what I thought it did, but I didn't want to be wrong. I was embarrassed.
We started learning Flash for a week, and then they abandoned it completely after that week, and then nobody's ever learned Flash again because it's completely useless.
Here's how long ago I was taught Flash. Mm-hmm. For a project, for my Flash project, I bought a memory stick, a 1 gigabyte memory key for $40.
Oh, goodness.
Because they used to be $40.
Remember when they used to sell MP3 players, and for like 10 songs, it cost $80?
I never got one of those.
No, I had one, actually. It was it looked like one of the USB sticks now.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
With NSYNC.
Yeah.
Geez, what do you want to talk about first?
I
kind of wanted to talk about how I was a failure yesterday.
If I can go over back to my notes.
Oh, yeah, you want to switch back? Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're doing this. No parents, no rules. Hey. I was right in front of the camera.
So we should mention Adam's not here.
Adam's not here. He's moving literally across the street from this building, so that's going to be great.
I was going to start with Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night.
Well,
but should we save that for off air?
I want to save the ego boost for it. I don't care for when, but for at very least after I talk about how yesterday kind of sucked.
Okay.
Yesterday was literally a waste of time.
Okay, go ahead.
It was so I spent hours yesterday morning researching the standings and I looked at how every playoff eligible team in the Eastern Conference has done since March 1st. So I had to go through everyone's record, write it down.
That's a lot.
It's not difficult research. It's just very tedious and time consuming. So did their record, looked at how many points that is, looked at the points percentage, and I tried to figure out who the hottest teams in the East are. Because for the longest time, we've been talking about the Metro Monsters, Washington, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and New York. In fact, heading into last night, I don't know what it is now, the 3 hottest teams in the Eastern Conference were Montreal by a long shot, Toronto was number 2, and I can only imagine they're hotter because they won. Mm-hmm. And who was number 3? Tampa Bay.
Oh, wow.
Tampa. Pittsburgh was number 4, and a lot of the Metro Monsters were way down the list. Even though the Caps were, I think they're 8-1-1 in their last 10.
Wow.
They had like a 4-game losing streak or something at one point.
Now, how much does that have to do with them being so far ahead and clinching playoff spot that they can just kind of cruise now?
That might be it. It might be it. It's, injuries, if you look at Pittsburgh. I'm not really sure what Columbus is dealing with injury-wise.
Yeah, at one point, Pittsburgh had 8 regulars out, I think it was.
It's brutal. They were going
ridiculous.
through, I would say, a light version of what the Sens are going through now. Just misery.
Mm-hmm.
And they're dropping off. They were not in the top 5 for the hottest teams. Problem is, you got to read that before the games start for it to be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But there was still a few hours where that could have been a great article and got a lot of traction.
Yeah.
As I'm about to publish, the Olympic news drops. So
Ah!
right away, you're like, well, wipe your butt with that. Wipe your butt with your entire morning.
It's not
'cause
relevant.
No one's reading it.
Nobody cares.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And then by the time the game arrives, don't worry about it.
No, and today, it doesn't really matter because everything changed because games were played.
And then I made a video. And it was for TV.
Mm-hmm.
It was for Hockey Central. It was for the Leafs pregame show. And Darren Millard was going to throw to it, and there was going to be all this great stuff, and it was going to be wonderful. And I think there was supposed to be a Curtis Joseph interview in there, and I don't even know if that happened.
In your video?
My video was supposed to lead into one, and I don't even know
wow.
if that happened. I don't think he was interviewed.
Yeah.
Because the stupid Jays went to 11 innings, and the pregame show was still on Sportsnet 1, but I think everyone was still watching the end of the Jays game and all that. So basically, I did a bunch of stuff yesterday, and no one saw any of it. No one cared. And there was no point uploading it online because it was a promo for the game that was happening.
So the video's really just wasted.
The article was wasted. The video was wasted. Everything sucked. Yesterday was a waste of time.
Oh.
So if you read or watched either of those things, thanks.
I feel
You were the
bad.
only one. Oh, that happens sometimes.
Yeah?
You don't get to decide when your entire day's work is going to be garbage. You don't get to decide.
Well, you didn't throw the video up online just to be like, hey, I'm going to get more use out of this, maybe.
Yeah, I thought about throwing it on Twitter, and then I was just so disheartened. I was like, forget it. I'm not even doing that.
Oh, well, that's a little disappointing.
It was a little.
Well, the game was good.
Game was great.
We should mention what we're going to be talking about.
Well, do you want to do that because you wrote the whole thing?
We're going to touch on the Leafs last night, which is coming up right now.
Absolutely.
Olympics. We're going to do a little Tom Rowe because that situation is dicey.
Yeah.
And then coming up next segment, I hope, or the segment after, maybe on the online. We'll do it on the offline portion.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, off-air portion, I should say.
We'll let him swear.
Greg Wyshynski.
Yeah. Oh, Puck Daddy.
Puck Daddy.
Yeah. Greg Wyshynski's going to come on. He has had a great morning.
Oh, terrific.
Writing about Tom Rowe and writing about the Olympic coverage. He had a very unpopular angle on the whole thing. Basically, this isn't the NHL's fault. This is the IOC's fault, which I wholeheartedly... You ever reject something just based on the title?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? This might contain pertinent information, but I'm not going to read it.
I, deep down, don't want this to be true, so I'm just going to close my eyes and not believe it.
I want to be mad at Gary Bettman in the NHL forever and ever. Amen.
Exactly.
And he didn't completely let them off the hook, but he made some very, very good points.
Yeah, you're like, I can't really disagree with anything you're saying because it's fair.
Yeah, rather than butcher it myself, I think I'll let him butcher it.
Yes. Okay. Game last night.
Game last night was fantastic.
Holy Matthews.
Holy Matthews. Holy everybody.
Yeah.
Holy, you know what? Holy Matthews and the Leafs deserve credit. Those 3 goals were great. But boy, did the Sabres just look totally uninterested in that game.
Yeah, they came out flat, and in 48 seconds, I think it was, and we proved
43.
43 seconds,
43.
they just didn't play.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I'm trying to remember what happened. Oh, yeah. So Connor Brown on the forecheck on the first goal. He's fantastic. The Sabres defender, I don't even remember who it was. Whoever number 29 is, I think. Completely whiffs on the pass. And Kadri to Komarov, who fell down. So it was so poorly covered that he had time to crash into the net, get back up, and be in perfect position. So already the Sabres are brutal. Nylander turnstiles the Sabre at the blue line. 3 guys are looking at him. No one's looking at Austin Matthews. So he's able to snipe on Robin Lehner. And then the Bozak JVR one, I was just like, that's kind of sad.
The JVR goal was so quick.
Should never happen.
Even on the slow motion replay, you can't see it. It's so quick.
And I don't remember if it was Paul Romanuk or Greg Millen who pointed out that this game was featuring 2 of the top 4 face-off guys in the entire league. One being O'Reilly, which wasn't a shock. One being Bozak.
What?
I had no idea. I knew he was good. I didn't know he was that good.
He's top 4 in face-offs in the NHL.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still that way, but yeah, he's real good. He's real good.
I've heard nothing all season about his face-offs.
Well, and that's exactly the sort of thing that people just like do terrible things to themselves that you can't say on the radio over. They just go, "Oh, face-offs, aren't they wonderful?"
Yeah.
And I mean, as we've discovered over the last almost decade, people will give Bozak the benefit of the doubt whenever they can, sometimes to combat the crap that's said about him online. But I guess since there hasn't been that much this year, there hasn't really been the need to jump to his defense, which is weird because he's having the best season of his career.
How nice is it, with all the rookie hype, that the guys who used to be our main guys are now our secondary and third players?
I think Bozak is playing the role that he should have been playing the entire time.
Exactly.
And I feel bad. So we've been through this before on the podcast. He's blocked me. And he should have. Like, he should have. I'm glad he did that. Or not glad. He made the decision I would have made. If someone talked garbage about me all day, every day, I'd block them too. That's mean.
How bad did it get with you?
I don't think it ever got personal. It was just, I try really hard not to get personal because I don't know these guys.
Yeah. Also, you got to remain professional because you're in a professional business and this is your livelihood.
Exactly. If I ever walk into these guys, I don't want them to deck me. And again, there was a time where I'd be like, that makes sense. Like, I'd just I'd put a steak in my face and be like, I understand that. But it was just, you know what it was? It was more frustration with the team as a whole, frustration with management, particularly frustration with Carlisle. And whatever, now we're in a perfect world where Kadri's this amazing center for the team.
Third center.
Arguably. I don't know who's who, but this is the great thing. So the controversy for all of Babcock's tenure, all of Carlisle's tenure, was who's the number one center. Yeah. Who should the number one center be? And Babcock has made up for that by not having one.
Yeah.
He doesn't say who it is. You could easily argue it's Kadri. You could easily argue it's Matthews. Can't really argue it's Bozak. But some nights it has been.
We have a fourth line and then 3 lines that are just lines.
Yeah, and they have their different purposes. You know, one's a water type, one's a grass type, one's a fire type. Like, that's how I look at them. Yeah. It's Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle. They all have things that make them great. But they're not necessarily stronger than the other, except for Squirtle is the best.
No.
IMO.
Charmander's the best.
See, Charmander is the cool pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't make him the best.
Yeah, it does.
Can Charmander surf?
Can Squirtle breathe fire?
No.
There you go.
Squirtle can't fly either. When he turns into Blastoise.
Are there Blastoise farms where you can send off your Blastoise?
What a niche market. I don't get it. Anyway, so Bozak is right where he should be, I think. And he's proven that by having the great season he's having. All 3 of the top 3 centers on this team are having amazing seasons.
Yeah.
Bozak's having a great one. He's having a career year, finally hit 50 points. Kadri's hit a career high 31 goals. I don't know if he's beaten his career high in points. Probably.
Unsure.
And Matthews has broken every record. Dude, that goal broke 2 records at the same time.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was the Leafs rookie record for points and the record for goals by an American-born rookie.
Who held that previously?
Neil Broughton.
Okay.
With 38. And I think Neil Broughton, have you ever seen the video? Now, I might be wrong because there's a few guys named Broughton. But have you ever seen the video of Gretzky getting into a fight with a guy on the North Stars?
No.
So he drops his gloves and the guy looking at him is just like, I think Wayne Gretzky's about to fight me. And then he just basically beats him up, but like in a very gentle, I know you're Wayne Gretzky kind of way.
I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah, he's like, I will kill you. Like, I don't know what you think you're trying here, but you're dead.
How long into his career was this? Was he young?
He was very young.
Okay.
He was very skinny, very...
yeah. But Gretzky used to be the thinnest guy in the entire National Hockey League.
That is the amazing thing when people talk about too small, is Gretzky was too small his entire career.
Yeah, and he's the greatest ever.
Greatest ever.
So is there really a too small?
I don't know. I mean, if you get pushed around, That's not necessarily because you're small. I've seen big guys get pushed around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I hate to bring him up. He's not on the Leafs, and I actually kind of liked him when he was with the Leafs. But Freddie Gauthier, like that guy's a bus on skates, and he falls down a lot.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner is just this little feisty. He falls down a lot too, but he gets right back up.
But he's so fast, you can't hit him.
There was this guy, I think we might have talked about him before. So in rugby, which I played in high school, when you get tackled, okay, if you have the ball and you get tackled, what you have to do is drop the ball. And then as soon as you stand up, you can pick the ball back up and run with it. But usually by then you've been stripped. One game, there was this, we called him just the zombie. We would, like 3 of us at the same time, would just mash this guy into the dirt. And he would just jump right back up, grab the ball, and we'd have to kill the zombie again.
Yeah.
And he would just keep coming back to life.
It's the weird dad strength where you just have power in your bones and you're just built a different way. It's all genetics, really.
It's
Like,
not a little bit of spirit?
I think
it's spirit.
Yeah, but that's also genetics, I think. I don't think you can learn that. I don't think you can
I think you can learn that.
You think you can teach somebody to be that truculent?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's environment.
Okay.
And I think we all have an extra gear. We all like to think that we're all trying our hardest all the time. It's simply not true.
No,
we're not.
You're rarely ever working your hardest.
No.
It never happens.
No. And yeah, like, okay, I have a buddy so I think I'm good at going to the gym. And then I go to the gym with my friend who's actually good at going to the gym.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that's what a strong person looks like. That's what an in-shape person looks like. But he said he likes going to the gym with me because I know I'm not as strong as him, so I try extra hard, which might explain why I get injured all the time.
But that's great for you.
It's great for me.
Yeah.
And, I maximize whatever. Mm-hmm. I maximize exercise that has no benefit other than fitness.
But the fun thing is you'll never get to that point where you'll be hip. Because
probably no.
Your passion for gymness isn't there, right?
No, but while I'm there,
yeah. But while
I try
you're
really
there,
hard.
Yeah.
So if only I worked out. I don't know. If only I was better on the ice. I guess I don't know. Like okay. I saw some flack today. I'm trying to remember who the player was. Oh, I think it was criticism of Goldobin on Vancouver, and I don't remember who it was, but they were basically like he needs to try harder. Like he needs to just show some more. I don't know. I think the word was balls, which I'm going to go ahead and say on the radio. I mean, we cover baseball, we cover basketball, balls.
Okay. For a long time, the CFL's promo was "Our balls are bigger," so I think saying balls is fun.
Why CFL? Why? Anyway, and some people were jumping on it as like that's lazy analysis. Well, no, it is possible that he is a highly skilled player who is not trying as hard as he possibly could. Mm-hmm. That said, I didn't watch the game. So if you're saying that's garbage and you did watch, okay, fine. I'll take your word for it because I didn't watch. And now we're finding the strength of Adam Wilde because I'm like, I don't even know where this started.
It was a lazy analysis.
No, but like the beginning, we started talking about Bozak and some stuff.
Okay, let's backtrack. Bonuses.
Chris Johnson.
Nylander, Marner, and Kadri all hit 60 points tonight. That means Marner is also assured of maxing out his Schedule A bonuses at $850,000.
Good for him. That's a good night.
And Nylander, he has maxed out his Schedule A bonuses at the exact same level, $850,000.
Which I think in Chris Johnson's piece that he wrote a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, the Leafs predicted that their rookies would all kind of hit these Schedule A's, or at least within the last couple of months, they were like, this looks like a reality here.
Does this concern you?
No, not at all. Because, like, here's the thing. There's going to be overage. We don't know what the team's going to look like next year. Someone's going to get claimed. There's a lot of money coming off the books. So even though there's going to be overage, it's not necessarily the end of the world. They're probably going to have to sign a couple guys, but it's not the end of the world at all.
Okay.
Also, these bonuses are in place for if you are out of this world exceptional, which the Leafs rookies have been. Like, okay, am I upset that this screws up the Leafs cap situation? Yeah. I don't want it to screw up the Leafs cap situation. Oh, okay. So are you saying that Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, and William Nylander don't deserve their money? No. They deserve every dollar. Yeah. Connor Brown, too, whatever he gets. I don't know if Hyman has any bonuses. Zaitsev. I don't know how any of that works, but they've all been great. Mm-hmm. They've all been great. I saw a tweet today. Gosh, I wish I remember who it was so I could credit you. You know who Zach Hyman has more points than? Jimmy Vesey.
Oh, and the big deal made over Jimmy Vesey.
Remember us crying about him?
Ugh, yes.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah, and, people dump on Zach Hyman all the time. He's not supposed to get points.
No.
He's not. So you could argue he shouldn't be on Matthews' wing, whatever. That's an argument for another day. Mm-hmm. I think he's been great.
Yeah.
I think he's been great. I think all the rookies have been great.
The thing in Edmonton, the problem they had was nobody could skate with McDavid. They could find nobody playing on his line. But we found somebody who's a compliment to Matthews.
I think
it's been working.
I think last night he had a good, what I call a Daryl Boyce assist.
Okay.
Which is when you don't get an assist. But you were instrumental in the goal happening. Mm-hmm. Nylander did the sick deke. Great feed to an open Matthews. Matthews took an amazing shot. They deserve the lion's share of the credit, and they get the points. But the fraction that's left, you give to Hyman for being a jerk in front.
Yeah.
And being a bit of a distraction.
The review of the tape assist.
Review of the tape assist, or like what the reason I call it the Daryl Boyce assist is back when Daryl Boyce was with the Leafs, there were a bunch of goals that got scored with Daryl Boyce on the ice where he was in front being a nuisance and awful and the goalie couldn't see, but Boyce didn't touch it at any point. So didn't get any credit, didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist, not even a secondary assist. But goal doesn't get scored without Daryl Boyce.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you have any thoughts on Saturday's game? Before we move on?
Which one was Saturday's game?
Where we
trying to remember. Oh, Detroit.
Detroit. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So that's how little of Saturday's game I was actually able to watch because of all the hockey night stuff. Which are we saving that for segment 2?
Yes.
So all that hockey night crap. I was on hockey night in Canada. I was mentioned on hockey night in Canada. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Second period was great. I saw it in the highlights. Mm-hmm. And it was just a chaotic third. And it's just, I honestly have gotten to the point where I don't care how they win games anymore. Just win. Yeah. Like, it was so ugly.
And they've been
so ugly.
And they've been doing it.
They have been doing it. They have, over the last 2 weeks or so, it's getting into a month now. Over this crazy stretch where they're like 11-3-2, something goofy like that. Mm-hmm. They have bent at least 4 or 5 times. Philly, they almost screwed it up against Philly. They almost screwed it up against Detroit. Previous to that, they almost screwed it up against Detroit again. Buffalo, I don't think really counts. I can't remember all of them, but the difference is they did not break. They ended up winning all of those games where they coughed up a lead or most of a lead.
Yeah.
Don't care.
I didn't think a team so inexperienced would be able to hold it together. And it's shocking that they're able to do it.
What's strange to me is the rookies who everyone was saying, will they run out of gas as the season goes on? They're not used to playing this many games. They're getting better.
Yeah.
Way better.
That's the weird thing.
With the exception of Marner, who's had strep throat. So
fair.
And he's still fine.
Yeah. And you think about the guys who were on the World Cup roster. They've played an extra amount of games on top of that. And they've never experienced that through their entire professional career. They've never played this amount of games. And they're going to play even more games once they reach the playoffs. And they're, like you said, getting better. And it's shocking and it's exciting and it's really cool to see.
Depending on, and it's still an if, the Leafs make the playoffs. Let's say they make it. And depending on how far they get, Austin Matthews could play in his first season as a professional 100 games.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, between World Cup, I don't remember if he played many preseason games.
Yeah, I don't think anybody on the World Cup rosters really wanted to do that.
No. Most of them didn't have to play more than
they were kind of warmed up.
Yeah, a little bit. Marner played a ton. Mitch Marner played at the rookie tournament.
Yeah.
Like that tournament that's just 90% guys who will never make the show. Mm-hmm. Or maybe get like a 20-game sniff throughout their entire career. This guy has 60 points.
Remember when we were going to send him back to juniors?
Remember when he didn't score any goals in the preseason?
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
But he was still sick, so no one cared? Dude.
It's fun. It's fun.
Things can change.
So you want to go to break,
Yes.
and then we can do a standings check.
And then we'll talk about how
and then we're going
important
to talk about Hockey Night in Canada.
Absolutely. This is the Steve Dangle Podcast brought to you by Panago Pizza. It's what's on the inside that counts.
Very nice.
We're back on the Panago Pizza Steve Dangle Podcast. Standings check.
Standings check.
Standings check.
All right, let's go through the Atlantic. Montreal, 79 games played, 101 points. Locked up. Winners.
Wow. Dude, they could get up to 107 points.
And we still don't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs.
We'll get to that.
All right. Toronto, second place in the Atlantic, 78 points, 78 games played, 93 points.
78 points, I would be like, oh, okay, good. Like heading into the season?
Yeah.
That's about what I
right.
would have expected.
Games played, Ottawa, 78, 92 points. So exact same amount of games played. We got the actual lead over Ottawa.
So, yes, the Leafs have the points lead, and they also have the regulation wins lead.
Yes.
In the event of a tie.
The regulation overtime wins, we got 38. Ottawa's got 36. So we're sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty.
First wild card, the Rangers clinched that spot. They're at 100 points, 79 games played. And Boston in the second wild card spot, 79 games played, 92 points.
Now, without getting into all of the teams that are left, let's go with the most dangerous one. What is Tampa at?
Tampa Bay, 88 points, 78 games played.
So
can they do it?
Well, Leafs play the Caps tonight.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, almost, to the standings, Boston plays Tampa tonight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I would like Boston to win that game.
Uh-huh.
My only request, because Tampa might win it, my only request is whoever wins this stupid game, win it in regulation.
Yes.
Please, I'm begging you, for the love of God. You know it's going to go to the overtime of the shootout, right?
Oh, 100%. They're actually just going to give both teams 2 points. Because the shootout's just going to take so long. They're like, just give them all 2 points.
You know who's screaming this even more is Ottawa, who is just trying so hard to make the playoffs.
Falling.
Dude, so I think it was 2-5-3 in their last 10 games. They lost to Detroit in the shootout. Mm-hmm. So at least they got a point out of that, and they fought and crawled for that point. But you got a home and home with Detroit. They're playing them again. If you don't get 2 or more points out of a home and home with Detroit at this point in the season, maybe you don't deserve to make it.
And they're going to be missing Cody Ceci, Mark Mathot, and Zach Smith for the rest of the season.
That's brutal. And Erik Karlsson was a game-time decision.
Yes.
So you know you're not getting 100% out of him.
No. He's only playing because they need points, and they can't afford to not have him in the lineup. Ottawa
has, let's say, 3 or 4 wins in their last 10 instead of 2. Mm-hmm. I wonder if Karlsson sits.
Oh, 100%.
Like, okay, if Karlsson is no good, I mean, what's even the point of making it? I mean, I hate to say that. What's the point of making it? Let Eugene Melnick tell you about playoff revenue.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those home dates are pretty lucrative.
They're important. Even if you only get 2 of them.
Yes.
Take all that money. Just take it.
So, who are you rooting for? Tampa or Boston?
Boston.
Yeah?
One, it'll make me more secure that the Leafs will. I just want the Leafs to make the playoffs. We've been through this 1,000 times. I just want them to make it. I don't care who they play.
Tonight, it's a virtual. Can we clinch tonight? I think we can clinch tonight with a Tampa loss and a regulation win by us.
Yes.
A Tampa loss in regulation.
That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot.
It's just 2 things that need to happen.
It is 2 things that need to happen.
Just 2 things.
Like Boston's won, I think, like 5 straight. Mm-hmm. Tampa's so damn hot, and it's so annoying. No one will die. Every time I see the Leafs win, 5 minutes later, I look at the scores around the league, and my joy is immediately killed. I'm like, go away!
They're like, oh, the Islanders still won.
They've won 11 of their last 15 games, and I think they have made up 0 ground on the Lightning.
Crazy.
Maybe 1 or 2 points. Yeah. The Lightning might have even gained.
Yeah.
So annoying.
It's fun though.
Hurricanes too. Oh, it's so fun.
Because the West is over. Is literally over. LA's been eliminated. So at least we get some fun here.
At least we get some fun.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned, and we will get to Saturday's game and everything.
Very shortly.
Who did I tell you the hottest team since March 1st is? In the East?
In the East.
Leafs being the second hottest.
It was Montreal, wasn't it?
Montreal.
Yes.
They got 101 points. They're going to be playing the Rangers, who, out of the 11 teams who haven't been eliminated yet, I think the Rangers were if I'm not mistaken, the second coldest.
Lundqvist had 3 terrible games in a row the last week. It was like Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And his save percentage, I don't think, was above 900 in any of those games.
I think they got a couple injuries too. I'm not totally sure. But that matchup was already favorable for the Canadians because Montreal just always does pretty well against the Rangers, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
You got the hottest team in the East with a new coach heading against the coldest team. I think Montreal wins that series. And then all of a sudden, if you make it to round 2, you're going to get Montreal, I think. And then all those Metro Monsters are so busted up.
Is this Montreal's year? Is it finally time?
It's looking a lot like
for
it.
Carey Price to carry them to the finals.
He just might.
That would be fun.
I mean, they'll have to get through Toronto first. But I'm saying, everybody, Leafs fans of every team, but especially fans of every Canadian team that is not the Montreal Canadiens, brace yourselves. Get ready, because the team that traded PK Subban last summer might win the cup. I'm throwing it out there, dude.
How?
Since March 1st, they've gotten 0.75. They've gotten 75% of available points.
Oh, God.
They're good.
And
the Habs are good.
And nobody's been paying attention because they've just been sitting first in the Atlantic the entire time. So
and no one has even considered, like, everyone, the top 4 teams in the East have just been those 4 Metro Monsters the entire time. Habs might pass the Rangers in the standings.
They have, because the Rangers are sitting at 100 points and Montreal has 101.
Well, there it is. There it is. Oh, did Montreal played last night?
Yeah.
So they've gotten more than 75% of available points then.
So they're even better than we thought.
They're even better than how I wrote them in that article that no one read.
Yeah, the one that nobody knows.
Damn it.
All right, do you want to talk about your special moment?
I would love to.
Okay. I'm going to play this for the audience. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, simply because I don't know how to play it out loud for us.
But in post, we'll fix it in post.
But in post, well, everybody will hear it in real time. It's just we won't hear it.
I always talk with an audience in mind. I completely ignore the fact that we're the only 2 people that can hear this right now. As we're speaking the words, we're the only 2 people.
That's very true.
And maybe her who works in that office. And
that's a little creepy.
She's always like, I heard you guys. I'm like, oh.
All right.
I yell through soundproof glass.
Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada. This happened.
Oh, no, I don't want anything on the beauty. Gives Harvey the Hound gives him a little tap. What a guy, boy. What, he's got 14 goals, I think.
We've never met Steve Dangle, but he said he should have been one of the 100. Steve Dangle's on Hockey Central every weeknight.
Yes. No, I topped the 100, of course.
Yes.
But Malkin's not on, and he won every trophy except Rookie of the Year. I think he did win Rookie.
One more time.
Oh, no, I don't want anything on the beauty. Gives Harvey the Hound gives him a little tap. What a guy, boy. What, he's got 14 goals, I think.
We've never met Steve Dangle, but he said he should have been one of the 100. Steve Dangle's on Hockey Central every weeknight.
Yes. No, I topped the 100, of course.
Yes.
But Malkin's not on. I think he did win Rookie.
All right.
Can I just talk about how I would not have that any other way? Who? I love it.
It's perfect.
Good. It's absolutely perfect. I didn't know that was coming, and I watched that segment. So I was at a bar with my friends we decided, okay, we're going to do this, and we had it planned for like a week. And I'm just sitting there at the bar, and like many Canadians, I watch Coach's Corner with the sound off because I'm just staring up at it.
It's intermission. You usually turn the sound down.
It's still colorful enough.
Yeah,
that
very colorful.
Lots of highlights.
Yeah. His
jacket was it looked Disney influenced. and I'm just watching, and I go, oh, there's that Jerome McGinley fight And so I'm watching this as it's happening, not hearing that they're talking about me on national television. And then I look down at my phone, 15 texts, 2 missed calls, a voicemail, which was Adam going, answer the phone, you beep. And that was unbelievable. I had no idea Ron MacLean had any idea who I was.
Really?
One time my friend mentioned me to him.
Okay.
But like he could have just been polite.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I know who that is.
Now he's one of the huge hockey figures that you've never met, correct?
He is. I met Don Cherry twice.
Okay.
I have never met Ron MacLean.
Okay.
Never met Ron MacLean.
It's
I've had the opportunity to many times, but I don't like it. I don't want to meet someone for the sake of meeting them.
As a fan.
Yeah. Hi, Ron. It's been but like, what am I going to introduce myself as? An equal?
Yeah.
A coworker?
Yeah.
Not really, dude.
You guys are both on Sportsnet's hockey coverage.
I don't
You are
know.
equals.
I don't know.
You are 100% equals.
We're like the same.
Exact same.
Okay, cool. I'm going to bring that up in contract negotiations in September.
I wrote in the show prep, in the notes I sent you, that this is genuinely a big deal.
It is.
And it is.
It is. Like, I don't... I'm not to pump my own tires or anything, but like every human being I've ever known contacted me within 20 minutes of that happening.
Yeah. Hockey Night in Canada is an institution. It's a part of the country. And
it is.
To be featured on the broadcast is a huge deal.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is technically my second time being featured on Hockey Night in Canada, but one was the playoff preview show in 2009 that Jeff Merrick pushed for heavily.
What?
Yeah.
So
Jeff Merrick's been in my corner since day one. He's the best.
But never in Coach's Corner.
No, never in Coach's Corner. And the playoff preview show was like a Tuesday night or something. Okay. So like it's a Hockey Night broadcast. Ron MacLean was the host, and he did say my name.
Okay.
But
it wasn't Saturday
night. Dude, that was 8 years ago, and it wasn't Saturday night.
Yeah.
It has to be Saturday night.
So, as you know, Mrs. Dangle was texting with me before the show.
Yes. She tweeted something.
She tweeted some emojis at you or something like that.
And I was I knew you were being all coy. You were being coy. What is it? What happened?
So, to celebrate your big moment, she decided to get you something.
Oh, she got me a present?
It's under the table here. If you're watching on video, I hope you enjoy this big reveal and stare at Steve's face while this is happening. But she got you this cake here.
She got me a cake?
And I want you to open it.
Where the hell did she even get this from?
Steve's opening his cake.
From Dessert Lady.
From Dessert Lady. Shout out, Dessert Lady. No, she doesn't get a shout out.
Okay, so
we had to pay for this. It wasn't free.
I'll move the mic over to the camera. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't want to tip it over, whatever it is. Oh, that's awesome. It says Steve Dangle. Who?
So there you go.
And I am going to crush this entire thing. Yo, you know what would be so mean is if I didn't bring her home any.
She specifically wrote me and said, tell Steve to bring me some. So you better bring her a damn piece of cake.
She's not here. Well, you got to get some before I leave.
Anyways, yeah, congratulations.
Wow. That's so nice.
She arranged to get you that cake with Steve Dangle Who written on the label for anybody listening, and that's what it says.
That's so nice.
Congratulations.
The next morning she made me pancakes too in the shape of H and then N.
I saw
and then
that.
IC.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Hockey Night in Canada, man. There you
go.
It was really cool. You know what? You know what's been great about the whole TV thing? So, okay, so I'm going to sound ungrateful here, but getting on TV hasn't been a goal of mine for like a long time.
Okay.
It was for a while, but it stopped being that way. I just wanted to focus digital. I started getting on the Hockey Central broadcast this year because I was approached, and I was honored to be approached. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. What makes this awesome is the TV stuff. I see it in their face. It makes my parents genuinely so proud.
Yeah.
So because it's much better than telling their friends and coworkers my son is a YouTuber.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't get that.
Yeah, my son's on Sportsnet.
Yeah.
It's even Sportsnet.ca To the older generation, it's watered down. For us, it's really cool. But I don't know. For them, more than anything, it's great that I've gotten this opportunity. And then to be mentioned on Hockey Night in Canada, it's so goofy.
To people from a different generation, if you get 600,000 views on a YouTube video, or you're featured on a broadcast on television that gets 100,000 views, the television broadcast means more to them.
It means
tenfold.
100%.
Because they don't understand that you're reaching a bigger audience online. But you can't change their feelings. So I definitely understand where your parents are coming from, because that's their medium. That's where they're viewing it. So yeah, it's understandable.
I've had like 13 million or something like that views on YouTube.
Yeah. You're like, what is TV?
Who cares?
Yeah.
None of them are Carolyn from work.
Exactly.
But you know what Carolyn has? Sportsnet.
Yeah. That's
CBC.
That's why Adam's so big. You think,
Adam is enormous, and he would cringe through this whole conversation, but he's not here, so
yeah, because
Adam is a big deal. When we go out, he gets stopped like 3 times more than both of us combined.
All the time. Because he reaches that television audience in the mornings.
He's on breakfast television.
Yeah. He reaches 40 to 70-year-old women. whatever their main demographic is for advertising, he's reaching them.
Have we talked about the Dina joke?
No, we
on
need to
show?
save that for when he's here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Because they don't get it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You're listening.
You don't get it. You people.
You people listening.
Just call them the unwashed there, dregs.
The unwashed. The unwashed masses.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, because he reaches all these different audiences. He reaches females 21 to 35 on KISS 92.5 every day. And then he reaches females and males 35 to 60 on breakfast television every morning. And then he reaches males 18 to 25 on this podcast. And
we have a very diverse listenership.
Yeah.
It's a little male heavy, but...
And then, I think we're 60-40 female-male on YouTube. Because you can see those demographics, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Should I be sharing those stats?
I don't care.
Yeah, okay. I don't care either.
I'm sure there's a way to find them.
Yeah, anybody could probably find them. Anyways, so yeah. You being on television opens you up to a whole new world. And because every single time there's a broadcast on Sportsnet, it's featuring you. So every time somebody's watching those broadcasts in the pregame, they're seeing you. And they're recognizing your face, and it's becoming more and more into their daily lives. And if every Tuesday and Thursday you see Steve Dangle, they're going to remember it. And soon you're going to be a part of these other guys' lives, not just people who listen to your podcast or people who watch your LFRs. So you should be really proud of that.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if any of that made sense.
I don't know how appealing this is to everyone else listening.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will bask in it gladly.
I like these conversations.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Well, one of the first texts I got from someone who's very smart was, does this open the door to potentially having a certain Mr. McLean on the podcast? To which I responded, I hope so.
That'd be amazing.
So we're going to try to make that happen.
Yeah, we need
to
just collect Sportsnet people to come on. Like, we need Tim and Sid still.
Yeah, did we talk about that on the show when he was like, it's happening. Adam, it's happening.
He did say that.
Or was it you?
And he told that to Adam at Humber.
Yeah, we're doing this. Are we doing this? We're doing this. It was very Sid Sixero voice. So,
yes.
Yeah, there were a lot of people coming on.
We need to get Ron McLean. Hopefully Ron can bring on Dawn.
That would be lovely.
Well, that'd be nice.
I don't know. Dude, he's 83.
Oh, my God.
I Googled it the other day.
Yeah?
83.
I'm not surprised he doesn't know who you are.
I am so okay with it. He doesn't even tweet his own tweets.
No. Does he know what Twitter is?
No. It's the internet. It's Google.
That thing on your computer.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't know Google either.
No, probably not. Anyways.
He doesn't need to.
We got a couple minutes before we have to take a break.
Okay.
Final thoughts on your anything?
Very happy.
Very happy.
I don't want to spend any more time on me.
Okay. Pre-Greg Olympic thoughts.
It's just immediate disappointment. You know what? I have had time mentally to prepare for the NHL not going to the Olympics. It's looked that way for a while. If this was sudden, and the breaking of the news was sudden, but the actual news itself, if it was sudden and out of nowhere, I'd be more sad and I'd be more angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
It's been a
looked this
slow
way for a long
build.
time.
Yeah.
It's been a slow build. The part that made me most mad yesterday, and I was pissed, was when Chris Johnson starts tweeting about how this affects talks with regards to the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. And for those of you who are like, what is that? What does that pertain to? The next inevitable lockout in, what would it be, 2019 or 2020?
2019.
Then, and it's like, okay, I went through one of these as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
1994 doesn't count. I was a kid. I've been through one of these as a huge fan, one of these as a semi-professional. The third one, if there is a third one, as a full professional whose mortgage depends on this, that's not going to be fun.
Nope.
That's not going to be fun. But the fact that we're tweeting these things, or Chris Johnson's tweeting these things, 17 months out. Imagine if a train was coming at you and you had 17 months to avoid the train.
Take one step left.
You're good. Yeah, it's just the NHL and these lockouts are just Austin Powers. Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
No, it's exactly like that.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. So if there is one, the video I make is going to make me unemployable. I'm just going to be so molten lava.
Do you know what you're going to do?
I'm certainly not KHL highlights again.
No, not that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Plan? No.
I don't know. I hope it doesn't come to that. But I have 17 months to plan. And if I have 17 months, I'll be okay because I'm a grown-up. Now, hopefully the grown-ups, the alleged grown-ups on both sides can come to terms. But when it comes to who takes the blame for this Olympic fallout, is it the players? Is it the IOC? Is it the NHL? We'll discuss that with Greg Wyshynski, who knows more about it than I do, on the online portion. So this has been the Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast. It's what's on the inside that counts. Something for everyone. And Jesse, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was gonna read some stuff, but I guess you're closing down the segment.
Okay, well, never mind. Never mind.
Do you want some just players' reactions?
Adam deserves to be famous.
He does.
I want some player reaction.
So we'll start with the coach. Babcock. He said, "I'll just say I'm disappointed." That was his quote.
Matthews has avoided. Supposedly, he was asked 6 things this morning, and he just buried it all.
Erik Karlsson, he said he calls the Olympic decision crap. This is from Craig Custance.
He's very good.
Politely declines to comment when asked if he'd play in the Olympic anyways. And then Carey Price on the Olympics. I feel like we're shortchanging some of the younger players that haven't had the opportunity. So, players are not happy.
And I haven't heard a quote from this particular player, and I don't expect to, because they're fighting for their playoff lives right now. But the most shafted player in the entire National Hockey League when it comes to this Olympic deal, Steven Stamkos.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, sad.
So, I don't know if maybe I should be telling this. Well, whatever. In 2010, when I was doing stuff with Nike, Stamkos was a Nike athlete, and they made a commercial for if he had made the team, which is just responsible. It's responsible. And
you have to do those things.
Exactly. If he doesn't make it, then you don't release it. It, to this day, is still the best commercial I've ever seen.
Really?
And it has not seen the light of day and will never.
No.
Will never. So he didn't make it in 2010. 2014, he's a lock. Breaks his leg. 2018, they're not freaking going. China? How old is Steven Stamkos going to be in 2022?
I don't know.
Is he going to be like 30?
Yeah.
And here's how crazily deep Canada is. Canada might be so good by 2022, Stamkos might not even make the team.
No. Someone said Mitch Marner's the 6th highest scoring Canadian forward.
I believe it.
Yeah. So,
dude, Canada at center. Like, who are their options? John Tavares, Steven Stamkos,
Crosby,
who's not a full-time center. Sidney Crosby. Well, he'll be pretty old by then. McDavid.
These are our centers.
It's unbelievable, and we're missing God knows how. Oh, Jonathan Taves.
Taves.
God knows. Like, absolute top 100. Didn't you know?
Top 100.
76-point scorer, Jonathan Taves. I just got to get it in once an episode.
How many 30 goals does Taves have?
I think he's got 3 as well.
3? Oh,
2 or 3.
They both got 3?
I'm not sure. We need to look this up.
Okay.
Maybe we can look it up in the online portion on sportsnet.ca. So, you know what? Adam's not here, so I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. Tell all your friends.
Boo!
And thank you very much for listening and watching and both. All right, we're back for the online portion of the Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast. We're going to talk to someone about the Olympic shenanigans who actually knows what they're talking about. It's not me. It's not Jesse. Might be Jesse. I don't know. I haven't really asked.
Nope.
Greg Wyshynski from Yahoo Sports. Greg, hello.
Hello. It's in the rankings of people who know about the Olympics. It's like Renee Fasal, then Gary Bettman, then me, then Dick Pound.
Dick Pound. It's just so unfortunate.
I love his name.
I don't think he does.
It doesn't matter. I think he does. I think he owns it.
You think Dick Pound?
I think he talks in the third person. I think he
Dick
comes
Pound
up to you
with like a quarter pounder with cheese.
Exactly. Throw some extra beef on that.
I think the proof's in the pudding. I mean, like he had the opportunity to go Richard Pound, but he chose option B. Mm-hmm. So I would say that he's probably a fan of it.
I don't know about that.
Dick Pound is a fan of Dick Pound.
Did you hear the episode where we had Jake and Smallwood on?
Did not.
That's not a joke, by the way. That happened.
It was pretty good. He's a WHL player, and I just hope he's a superstar one day.
I wish him luck because, as you know, in the best-selling book, The 100 Greatest Players in NHL History and Other Stuff, by me and Bozo and Down Goes Brown, the book does end with the 100 greatest players whose names sound like sex things. Is the way we close the book. So I imagine that young man, if he continues his journey to professional hockey player status, might be a candidate for the 2.0 of that book at some point.
Absolutely. Poor Jake.
What is the name of that book, by the way?
The one. See, this is the problem. Like, we gave this sort of a generic name, so whenever we mention it, it's always different. If you go to Amazon and you look up the 100 greatest players in NHL history and other stuff, I'm pretty sure that's the name, and you can find it. It's like a $6 ebook me and Lozo and Down Goes Brown wrote, and it was great. And people seem to really dig our list more than the NHL. So I think it's because we included like players from today on it, and the NHL decided to make the cutoff point Jonathan Taves
and Patrick Kane.
And 30 goal scorer. The 3-time 30 goal scorer, I should say.
Also 3-time 30 goal scorer, Kyle Turris.
So everyone look up the great Down Goes Brown book. Just Google it, apparently. Okay, so you wrote something today that I can only assume was met with some mixed feedback. Basically saying that the blame for the NHL not going to Pyeongchang in 2018 falls on the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. Why?
Well, the reaction has been great. The reaction is exactly what every writer wants, which is people come at it with a certain point of view, which is, I hate Gary Bettman. The owners are bad. And then they leave thinking, oh, that's right. The IOC is even worse. So, like, that's exactly what I was going for. And that's been, I say, the majority of the reactions of the piece. And thanks to everybody who read it. The why is easy, man. Like, if you have to remember, like, so this has been 5 Olympics now where the NHL has basically loaned its assets for free to the IOC. The IOC covers insurance costs and travel costs. They cover some accommodations in partnership with the International Ice Hockey Federation. And then this new regime came in, and after Sochi, the IOC said, well, guess what? We're not covering anything anymore. It's going to be on you guys and the IIHF to figure out how to come up with the funding. And this was at a time when the NHL, after 5 Olympics, was coming around to the idea that, well, we aren't really getting anything out of this anyway, so we're going to ask for more. So they ask for more, and they end up with nothing. And so this didn't really sit well with them. And you combine that with not really caring about South Korea as a market as much as they care about China, and everything kind of just rolled downhill from there.
Yeah, so this is what I guess I misunderstood for a while. So for a while, the NHL wasn't necessarily losing money. They were having to make some concessions and having to jumble their schedule, and that was difficult, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, the IOC was at least covering cost. So I guess you could say the NHL was breaking even I suppose.
Well, the NHL wasn't. No. I mean, they weren't breaking even in the sense that they weren't getting anything out of it. I mean, like a zero-sum game. I mean, I guess you can say is breaking even, but it's a situation where they are loaning their assets for no compensation. And obviously, there's legitimate reasons why they should be angry about that, and not so legitimate ones. Like, and a not so legitimate reason would be, hey, we have to stop our season and stop all the momentum in our season. I'm like, yeah, but it's like February. Like, you got plenty of time to ratchet up the machine again before the playoffs. And the idea that this is somehow deleterious to the NHL season, and I don't really buy that argument, but I do buy the argument that they develop these stars and market these stars and then lend these stars to another business for 3 weeks. They don't get any compensation for it, and they run the risk of these guys getting injured in this competition, and which is what happened to John Tavares and Sochi. So, like, I completely understand why the owners wanted to get more. And what it comes down to is, what's a reasonable ask and what's not a reasonable ask. And like I broke down this morning, like, I think it's very reasonable to say, hey, these famous people that we're letting you use for 3 weeks at no compensation we should be allowed to sell T-shirts with their names on the back and the Olympic logo at our store. That's a reasonable ask. Also reasonable is move hockey to the Summer Olympics. Like, that's stupid. and these are both of equation with the IOC for the last 4 years.
And now it's even worse because at first it was okay. We're loaning all these guys for free. Yes, you are covering the cost. That's lovely, but there's still a huge risk involved for us. So under what the IOC wanted, Pyeongchang would have been risk, and you have to pay for them, or they have to pay their own way, or whatever it is.
To dig into that for a second, so the full cost estimated for the NHL players to go to the Olympics is about $32 million. Okay. And so the IOC, the IIHF picked up, I think, the majority of that money, and then the IOC chips in the rest. With the IOC ducking out, basically you're asking for the IIHF to dig up all this money. And the way that they were doing initially was going to all of the member nations and taking the money from hockey development programs, which really kind of upset the NHL in the sense that, okay, like we're going to the Olympics to grow the game, but now all these programs that grow the game are being robbed to let us go to the Olympics to grow the game.
It's redundant.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So then what happened was the IIHF and Renee Fassel said, well, no worries. We found the money somewhere else and never really specified where. And I think there was still some consideration from the NHL that maybe they were still kind of scraping from internationally. And so that's part of the equation too, is when the IOC kicks the whole cost to the IIHF, now all of a sudden, you like you said, it's like a dog chasing its tail. It's like you're going to the Olympics to grow the game, but now the organization that's tasked with growing the game is having to, double and triple their efforts and their money to try to get the NHL Olympics.
But the Olympics makes stars, Greg. Isn't that true?
This is one of the biggest fallacies in Olympic participation. There has been maybe 3 stars that have been made in the Olympics in the last 25 years. One of them was Peter Forsberg, who was in the Olympics before the NHL arrived, who became a very famous player before he even arrived in the NHL because of that goal and the postage stamp and the whole thing. You could argue that Ryan Miller became a star and a household name in Vancouver, and then probably won the Vezina because of it. And I guess you can argue that TJ Oshie, became a bigger name than he was previously because of what he did against the Russians.
TJ Sochi.
The next ticket that TJ Oshie sells based on his name recognition will be the first ticket that TJ Oshie sells based on his name recognition. It is not a place that makes stars. It is a place that reaffirms them. Sidney Crosby was neither a bigger star or a lesser star after the Vancouver goal. He remained Sidney Crosby. So, the idea that this is somehow a promotional vehicle for the NHL, I don't think really flies. There's no tangible evidence, whether it's an increase in ticket sales or an increase in ratings or anything of that nature, that shows that there's been a real hard dollar benefit to going to the Olympics.
I like the TJ Oshie line because I was like, well, no, that's not true. Like, a lot of people really love that goal, and TJ Oshie's like a decent name. And then I remembered, no one is going, let's go to the Capitals game tonight because of TJ Oshie. Let's go see the Capitals' number one attraction, TJ Oshie.
Not only that, it's let's go to a Capitals game, go see TJ Oshie, and then hope there's a shootout because that's the only way we remember him.
Yeah,
that's true too.
Being the guy in the shootout. So no, I mean the idea that the Olympics are somehow a great promotional vehicle for the NHL, I don't think is necessarily founded. Now that said, it's disingenuous to say that it doesn't benefit the league in some way, depending on the venue, and that's why they are super excited to go to China in 2022. Not so excited to go to South Korea in 2018 because even though the games are going to be on at weird times, they see one market as being very, very fertile ground for them to, plant their flag and have games there and whatever, and then they don't care about South Korea
at all. The comparison you made in your article that I really liked. So I went into it. Hating the NHL. I was like, this is all the NHL's fault. So the thing that really did it for me was you laid out that TJ Oshie shirt scenario. Can you just go over that for the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like, to me, I relate to the NHL in this situation because the idea that you're giving away your product for nothing for 3 weeks for the usual bullshit the IOC sells you on, romanticism of sports, the Olympic spirit, blah, 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 is nonsensical. And the simplest, thing that they could do is allow the NHL to create a little revenue for themselves by using their own players with some Olympic branding. So the example I gave is like TJ Oshie beats the Russians. For the next 48 hours, TJ Oshie is the biggest name in hockey in the United States. He's on the Today Show. Everybody's talking about him. If the next morning at the NHL store in Shop NHL, there is a TJ Sochi T-shirt with NHL branding and the Olympic rings on it and like a Team USA whatever on it, like they're going to sell 1 billion of those. And so it's simple little revenue streams like that should be open to the NHL as part of this agreement with the Olympics. But year after year, Olympiad after Olympiad, they get denied. And so that's one of the reasons why they aren't going is because the IOC is trying to keep all of its money to itself, despite the fact that the NHL's product is making it for them.
Do you see them coming back for 2022?
That's really dependent on the IOC, to be honest with you. Not only in what kind of deal they want to cut, but if they're going to stick to their guns and this threat that they've made, which, by the way, happened last week, which is one of the reasons why I think we're dealing with this now, is because the IOC, dropped a mic and said, either go to both or you don't go to any. And Bettman's like, well, don't take too kindly to ultimatums. And so so they decided to, make the announcement this week. So I think it's up to the IOC. If they stick to their guns and they had to go to Pyeongchang to then get to Beijing, then they won't go to Beijing. If there is wiggle room, if maybe they understand that the impact of the NHL players not being there was palpable. Maybe they bend a little bit on their demands. But I think the bottom line, though, as far as where the NHL is on 2022 rather, is they want to go. I mean, they're going to have a 5-year run-up to the Beijing Games in which they're going to play games in China probably every year. And they're going to try to make it so hockey becomes synonymous with the NHL, with those players, and the local, whoever's, fans, media, whatever, in China are going to be the ones making things about, well, how can you have a hockey tournament at the Olympics if these guys aren't part of it? So it's very, very cold and calculated, but the bottom line is that the NHL wants to go to China, and the IOC, it's going to be up to the IOC to give in a little bit on their conditions or, stick to their guns and say, hey, you didn't go to South Korea, you don't go to China.
Okay, can you possibly see the IOC doing that? Mm-hmm. Like, wouldn't it be just shooting themselves in the foot to make a point?
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, the bigger picture on this, is not that it's simply just an NHL versus IOC thing. It's the IOC versus every professional league that sends its athletes to these games. And again, like to go back to what I was saying before, it's palpable BS that the Olympics are an amateur venture. The professionals have been in this thing for decades. IOC relies on the star power not only of hockey players and basketball players, but of Venus Williams, of golfers, of everybody that has soccer players, everybody that has a federation that allows their players to play there for no cost benefit. So are they going to acquiesce? I'd be pessimistic about it because if they do, whatever they give the NHL, they have to give everybody else. And that's been the real issue. Like if they give the NHL, say like video rights to run highlights of Olympic stuff on like NHL.com, well, then they have to give it to the NBA. They have to give it to everybody else. They don't want to do that.
It's so annoying. So, and then speaking of the video highlights and everything, there was this fallout with NBC issuing a statement all pissed off. What happened there?
Well, their statement was not as pissed off as the stuff they were saying behind the scenes, and honestly, like they didn't see this decision coming this quickly. I think they like everybody else was sort of hoping that it would work out. But the NBC situation is really interesting. If in fact this is the NHL not going, it's really interesting because to let everybody in Canada know, so NBCSN, which is where the NHL games mostly are aired, is a place where they put Olympic coverage. And it's important to put Olympic coverage there because the Olympics get much better ratings than hockey does. So at the end of the year, when you go to the advertisers and say, hey, here are the average ratings for our network for this year, the Olympics juices those ratings in a pretty significant way. So what do you do with the regular season? If Olympic skiing gets 3 times the rating that the Bruins and Lightning do, what do you do with that Bruins and Lightning game? Are you going to air it? I mean, is it in your contract to have to air it? And then on top of that, there is going to be an Olympic hockey tournament going on. So what do you do if you're NBC with your on-air talent? Do you send Milbury and Pierre and Tommy Roenick to South Korea and have the B team do the NHL? Do you create your own Olympic style hockey people and have the NHL people stay home? It's a real conundrum. And it's, again, like, it's real surprising that the NHL did this with being in a 10-year, $2 billion contract with NBC. You'd figure that maybe part of that contract was, you'll go to the Olympics, but apparently not.
The NHLPA statement seemed to allude to the fact that this isn't over yet and that there's still a hope that they can solve this. Do you think that's the case?
Everything I hear from the NHL says this is it. That could be posturing. I think a lot of the other statements that came out from the IIHF and the IOC were very sort of, this is it. I think the players have signaled to the NHLPA that they don't want this to be it, which is maybe what the NHL is going for. But at this late hour, unless they're willing to extend the CBA, which is something they're not willing to do, I don't know what the game changer could be from the players to change this situation. And the players have absolutely no sway with the IOC to get them to bend on this either. So, the player situation is really interesting for 2 reasons, and it's 2 things that kind of came out in the last 24 hours as I was researching this piece this morning on Puck Daddy. The first is that there's nothing in the CBA that says that they go, which is kind of weird. Like, you figure if the Olympics are that important to you that you would have it in writing in your collective bargaining agreement that you just go every 4 years. These are the conditions through which we go to the Olympics, but it's not in the CBA. There is a section explaining in detail why they are allowed to go to the IIHF World Championships every year, which is mind-blowing because, they just go. Who cares? So that was more important than the Olympics. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting was, like, the players are always making a lot of noise about where they're getting their share of the revenue. These outdoor games, these all-star games, like, all this stuff happens. And the biggest thing for the players is you have to make sure it's a 50-50 proposition. It's not part of hockey-related revenue. The World Cup is a good example of that. We want to make sure you get ours. It's the one thing where they don't care. Like, their costs are covered. They go there. They compete for a gold medal. They don't give a shit if the NHL is making a dime off this thing. And maybe that's just because of patriotism and the desire to win a gold medal trumping everything else. I don't know. But I find it really weird that here you have the IOC in the Olympics, this cash cow, this thing that it would be a financial windfall in some ways if you can crack that open and get some of that money. And the players don't care about it. It's really weird.
That is very bizarre. And I also like the point you made in your article where, the NHL is so concerned about players getting hurt at the Olympics, and John Tavares was the big example. The World Cup, a bunch of players get hurt there, but we make money off that, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's the bottom line. I mean, I've seen people being like, well, how can you tell the players to go play in an all-star game if you cancel the Olympics? I'm like, it's pretty easy. Everybody gets a whole pot of money and they share it at the all-star game. At the Olympics, nobody gets money outside of the players getting their costs covered.
Yeah, and if you don't go, you're suspended.
Yeah, right, exactly. I think it's a pretty, like, it's like something that you do for your job, and then an extracurricular thing you want to do outside your job, and you got to go to your boss and be like, hey, can I do this thing? And maybe he says yes, and maybe he says no. I don't know. It's pretty straightforward for me, but, like, But again, like a lot of this, the hardest thing about dealing with this issue, as you kind of noted off the top, was like, it's the argument between the heart and the head. I mean, everybody wants the NHL players in the Olympics. I do. I mean, I might not go to the Olympics if the NHL players aren't there, and I love going to the Olympics. It's the best hockey you can possibly ask for a short tournament. I still think the Stanley Cup playoffs are better for being a war of attrition, but for a short tournament, it's the best. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to dig in and deal with all the stuff that led to this. But when you take a step back and you really think about it logically, it's hard to side with the owners because we all hate the owners and we all hate Bettman. And we're used to siding against them in any situation that involves labor. But in this one, man, like I just think that it's not players versus owners. It's NHL versus IOC, and the IOC is the big bad here.
Not fun. It's not fun. Like I don't like. This is why I had you come on, and you did it in a very entertaining way. I hate talking about the business side of things. Get on the ice and frickin' play. That's all I care about, and I hate when these discussions happen, which are going to make the CBA discussions in a few months or whatever very interesting, very enjoyable for me.
Oh, it's gonna be absolute war. But like the thing about it, about the business of hockey or the business of sports, I agree with you. It's like it's the toughest thing to deal with when you want to deal with, you know, a guy winning a gold and an anthem playing and all the whole thing. But having covered 4 Olympics, like you have to shut off that part of your brand when you're covering the IOC. It's a corrupt organization. It makes money like you wouldn't believe. It takes money like you wouldn't believe. It leaves places in ruin. It strong arms people. It covers up its own doping scandals. Like it's a really horrible organization. And so when you go to the Olympics, you know, you go and you see the opening ceremonies and there's pageantry and the whole thing, and you're caught up in it. And there's no doubt that the Olympics are a beautiful, beautiful thing, and that you always get these heartwarming moments, these great human interest stories. But at the end of the day, you're dealing with a corrupt organization at the top. And you have to kind of put all that stuff aside and really focus and keep your eye on the ball. And in this case, I think it's hard for a lot of hockey fans to do that, to know, you know, why we got here and what needs to change for it to change. And I don't think the NHL's, you know, demands on this are all that unreasonable, as long as they're not asking for, like I said, something idiotic like moving ice hockey to the summer, which is, again, is just stupid.
Wait, that's something that was actually pitched?
Oh, I wasn't kidding. That's like, it's one of the things that they talked about. It's like, because you have to remember, like part of the issue here is shutting down the season, right? So, you know, in the Neanderthalic brains of NHL ownership, well, we don't have to shut down the season if it's not during the season. What's not during the season? Oh, the Summer Olympics? Oh, let's go there then. I mean, that's literally one of the things they asked for. I mean, they weren't never going to get it, but that was on the table. So, like I said, I'm not trying to shill for the NHL here. Like they've, as per usual, there are some things they've done horribly, like try to use this to strong arm the players into extending the CBA. And then there are things that I think are completely reasonable, because at the end of the day, the IOC is worse than the NHL, and it's hard to fathom that, but it's true.
Jesse, do you have a sticky note so I can write down a list of things old dudes don't ruin?
I do not have enough sticky notes.
Summer Olympics. What are you on?
Here, let me add one to nudity at the gym.
Oh my God!
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I'm head down. I'm head down in the locker room.
How likely is a lockout in 2.5 years? Like, because it appears we're headed down that path, right?
I mean, just you know,
it's less than that.
Get all your Blu-ray sets together of previous Stanley Cup Finals and get ready to watch them for a few months, because there's definitely going to be a lockout.
Yeah,
you think so?
If you had to throw a percentage on it, what do you think it would be?
100%. As long as Gary Bettman is the commissioner, there's going to be a lockout. And listen, okay, 99% because the NBA players settled.
Yeah,
you know, that's the only thing that gives me hope, is that they settled. But I mean, that's a much larger pie that they're all dealing with. I think everybody there is pretty fat and happy. You know, the issues that we're going to deal with next time are going to be the Olympics. It's going to be escrow. You know, I don't know how hard the players are going to go. But I do agree with the idea that a few people put out, that this is, you know, this is a real shot across the bow. I mean, the players, even if I think their anger is a little bit misguided, are going to be super angry about all of this. And it's not just the guys that go; it's also the guys that get 3 weeks off. And that's why the totality of the NHLPA supported Olympic participation. Because if you're a fourth line guy, you know, granted, you don't get to, you know, play for your country, but you do get to go to Cabo for a little bit. So it's something that they all wanted. And I feel like even if, you know, the arguments are logical that it's the IOC as the catalyst here, not the NHL, I don't think you can explain that to the players.
You mentioned as long as Gary Bettman is the commissioner. Our old friend Wikipedia says Gary Bruce Bettman of Queens, New York City, New York, was born June 2nd, 1952, making him 64, making him 65 in June. When does he retire, Greg?
He'll probably retire after the next CBA negotiation.
Mother.
That's the kind of conventional wisdom. There's some thought that Bill Daly will take over. I think a lot of us were kind of hoping that John Collins was going to take over, but obviously he left the NHL a few years ago. So it's interesting to see what happens when he does leave. But know this, he'll be around for the next labor war. And you know, it's an interesting confluence of events around that time. The NHL's TV contract with NBC ends in 2021. The Olympics are in 2022. And the labor war happens, I think, you know, a couple years before that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out. But as per usual, like, these guys know the long game, and on a lot of things are kind of coming together at that time, right when you're talking to the players about extending the CBA or negotiating a new one.
I'm thinking podcast merger to survive. we need to merge podcasts.
What are we going to talk about?
A lot of junior.
Easy, man. I just got to flip on the mic and let Merrick talk about the 1950 Sarnia Sting for like 3 hours. I'll just kick back with the pina colada and let that guy just go. My other podcast is probably just going to continue to be what it is, where me and Lowe's are on Puck Soup talking about like Batman movies. I mean, hell, there's like 10 minutes of hockey content on the show, as somebody who recently left a 1-star review on iTunes mentioned. But that's us insulating ourselves in anticipation of the lockout, I think.
We've got similar criticism. Instead of Batman, it was Pokemon. So yeah, instead we'll just talk about less hockey than we already do. That's okay.
Perfect.
Figures the Leafs are finally getting good. That's not the only thing I read of yours today.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how much time you got. Geez, I don't know.
Yeah, we've taken up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you're talking about my work, so.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. You stay your ass on the phone.
We own you.
We're talking about Tom Rowe, damn it.
Let me rephrase that. You're talking about my work, and you're not in the Yahoo comments. So I think
yes,
the conversation, I'm okay with continuing.
Hey there, Puck's daddy. Freaking
Puck
idiot.
Bitch.
Puck bitch asshole.
Who wrote this story? Barack Hussein Obama? I'm like,
yeah, did George Soros finance this story? Let me tell you, black helicopters we're seeing flying above Puck Daddy helicopters. Anyway.
Go ahead. Tom Rowe.
Yeah, Tom Rowe. So, well, speaking of black helicopters, there was a plane
that segue
flying above the Panthers Hurricanes game yesterday, and it said what?
It said it was like a fire Tom Rowe, and we'll call a cab for him or some such, which of course is a proclamation by a Panthers fan, one that apparently really cares about this team in a way where they would rent a plane. And then also making reference to Gerard Gallant being fired and then having those awkward photographs of him in a cab leaving the arena.
I'm glad one of their 10 fans owns a plane.
No, I was about to say, I just found out Doug McLean can afford to rent a plane. It was him.
Oh, yeah, I was 100%
it was him. So Tom Rowe's not coming back, and that's in the bag? They've announced this?
They haven't announced it, but both the Sun Sentinel and the Miami Herald both had it. And if both those guys have it, that means it's going to happen. They just haven't announced it yet. But I mean, it's one of those things that it was never guaranteed that he was coming back. The fact that they missed the playoffs and they've now lost, I think it's 16 out of 21 games, sort of portends that maybe he shouldn't come back. And then I think overall it's part of this this transition of power that we've seen there in the last year, with Dale Talon getting kicked upstairs and Eric Joyce and Steve Weimer kind of taking over as co-GMs, and then Rowe goes and becomes the coach. Like this computer boy brain trust that's there, I think is going to be allowed to pick whoever they want to be the next coach, and it'll be interesting to see what direction they go into, because I think Rowe's going to have a position in the organization, but he's not going to be GM next year.
Now, do you think within the Panthers organization there's a little bit of, next year will be different, because they spend the first half of the season with Gerard Gallant, and the excuse for him was, a lot of his best players were injured. And then Tom Rowe comes in, and there's still some injuries, and he's without Luongo. So I wonder if the Panthers look at the team they got and they go, you know what, it's still good.
Well, yeah, and that's why it was nonsense. It wasn't nonsense, but it came down to, a personal conflict for being the reason why Gerard Gallant, who, by the way, had a better points percentage in 21 games than Tom Rowe had the rest of the season, got turfed. It's because despite all the injuries, that it gave them cover to fire him. So, yeah, this is an okay team. I mean, obviously Huberdeau and Barkov both being healthy is a key. Ekblad, who I'm getting a little bit worried about with all these concussions, is a key. Reimer, I think, could be a fine goalie for 60, maybe 65 games for them next year. I don't know about Lou. And so there are pieces there, but it's just, behind the scenes, there's a lot of weirdness as far as the Vinny Viola, the one owner, and Doug Sifu, the other owner, and they've got their own guys. And I think this organization really needs to kind of find a way to get all on the same page. And the coaching thing is real interesting. I floated the idea this morning of, the entire organization being built on a military template. And, the owner almost became Secretary of the Army. It seemed like Ken Hitchcock would be the only guy they'd want to hire, being that he is sort of a drill sergeant and also is a student of military history. So, but I don't know. I don't even know if Hitch wants to coach next year. This is the second team now I've floated for him, along with the Dallas Stars. We'll see what he wants to do.
Yeah, and to backtrack there, because American politics are ridiculous. So my understanding of the events was Vinny Viola was named nominee for Secretary of the Army.
Yeah.
Then some story came out that he punched someone at a horse auction. Then he backed out of it. So
are those two things related?
That is a factual thing. No. So he had to hand over, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he had to hand over his stake in the Panthers to Doug Sifu while he was accepting this position with the government. Now that he's no longer taking that, is he just Vinny Viola, the Vinny Viola he was before he got that nomination?
Yeah, he's that guy again. You have to remember also that the horse punching thing isn't a really big deal in the States. It's actually been seen as honorable ever since Blazing Saddles to punch a horse. So, he was fine. It was just part of the gig.
Now, did he punch a horse or someone at a horse auction?
Someone at a horse auction.
I think he punched somebody at a horse auction. I was just going straight to punch a horse.
Is it weirder that we're more okay with that?
It's much more palatable to punch a horse than it is a person.
Yeah,
although I don't know what happens if you punch Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, here's the thing.
Oh, no.
World Star, South Park, World Star. Anyway.
No, listen. He didn't become Secretary of the Army. I should have gone with Rod Brindamore. I'm sorry. That was a horrible thing to say, punch a woman.
I didn't even put that together. I was just like, he called her a horse. Oh.
Yeah, no, it was a horse face joke, but I don't in any way endorse violence against women, so I'll go with Rod Brindamore. So anyway, he didn't get the Secretary of the Army thing because and this is the ultimate irony, he refused to divest himself from all of his businesses. When you are in the cabinet, that's something you have to do. When you're the president, it's sort of the thing you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So all this stuff that Trump's done about I'm no longer part of my businesses except I'm checking the revenues every day, and I have total access to my kids who are running the businesses. All that stuff is just he didn't even have to do it, but all of the members of the cabinet have to divest themselves from their businesses, and Vinny Viola didn't necessarily want to do that.
All right, well there it is. Jesus,
and also he punched a horse. Yeah,
and he punched the horse,
right.
Or Rod Brindamore. We're not sure, or potentially. I was going to throw out another name, but why would I do that? There's already too many names in there. Greg, really thankful for all your hard work and for joining us today. And I look forward to getting really good at video games and eating nachos with you in about a year and a half.
I would like to do that, but I understand that you're now in a different stratosphere of fame based on what happened.
Not if there's no hockey.
It's gone completely to his head, Greg.
We are multiple people in this conversation who will be famous for hockey and have no other discernible appeal outside of it. So, if you take hockey away, what are we? We are but mere men.
We are garbage. We are garbage, and I look forward to being garbage. I can't wait. Hopefully, the Leafs win a cup before then. Greg,
this year.
Yes, this year. It's happening.
Who's your Stanley Cup pick, Greg?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a pick. I think my pick before the season might have been the Capitals.
Okay.
So I'll stick with that.
Okay.
But I think the the final I want to see is the Caps and the Sharks have to win. Like, you can't have a tie. So, like, one of those teams will have to finally win something.
You can't have a tie. Watch it. It's going to be a 6 overtime Game 7.
I think that's a new rule. Ties are
6
allowed.
overtime Game 7, and then like a comet hits the Earth. Or something like that.
Wish, thank you very much, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, boys. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Greg Wyshynski, Yahoo Sports.
So
I'm depressed.
I wanna read you some stuff from Chris Johnston's feed.
Is this all developing? See, I was thinking about calling CJ or whatever, but like I knew he's at the ACC just swamped. I would have loved to have gone to the ACC today because the Caps are in town, and I haven't been to a practice in a while. But that's one I would definitely go for. But
so
no, today's a circus.
Live down at the ACC. Alex Ovechkin thinks the NHL is bluffing on the Olympic decision.
Good.
He says,
yes, you should always assume Bettman is bluffing. Good start.
He doesn't think this is any different than the uncertainty before Sochi. Next year's schedule is not out there yet. TJ Oshie on Olympics. For some reason, for me, I still think it's going to happen. Kuznetsov on the Olympics touched his hand to his heart while discussing the NHL's Olympic decision. Ovechkin again. Summing up his thoughts on the Olympics, somebody going to tell me, don't go, I don't care, I just go.
He doesn't need the money.
Nope.
He'll deal with the ramifications.
Yep.
Ovechkin might be the one untouchable guy in the league, and I mean that ahead of Crosby. Because, okay, there's a couple things, right? Money and power. Ovechkin has both. Let's say, and I heard one suggestion being thrown out there. So like he might be suspended, he might be fined, he might be all these things. Now, what if you go to the Olympics, it's a breach of contract, and they make your contract null and void?
Ovechkin says, hey, cool, I get to go play in my home.
Thank you for giving me a raise. He immediately, you make him twice as rich overnight.
He's Putin's second-hand man.
Yeah, he will. He's probably, like, there's no way Ovechkin pays a single dime of his own money to go to the Olympics for Russia. There's no way.
No.
There's no way. So I ask again, what are you going to do to him? Mm-hmm. There's no financial ramifications for him.
He doesn't need the NHL. That's the crazy thing. Crosby needs, I shouldn't say he needs, he should play in Canada. It's his home. He should play in the NHL.
Yeah, Crosby needs the NHL more than Ovechkin does.
Yep, 100%. Ovechkin doesn't need it at all.
No,
he can go to the KHL and be happy.
He's untouchable.
It's crazy.
This is going to be very, very interesting. Very ugly. And I didn't hear the Caps owner say anything stupid like, well, if it was an American player, I'd let him go. But, oh, Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene.
A couple things before we go to the press conference. Luke Fox summed up, he got the Cap Friendly's top 10 Golden Knights picks. So people have done the expansion draft over 40,000 times.
Okay,
and these are
I'm excited.
Top 10. Have you seen this?
No, I have not. I'm excited because I was going to tinker with this myself.
Okay. Do you want to, let's go from 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
Top 10 most picks in the expansion draft tool on Cap Friendly after 40,000 people tried it.
Jesus. So 10 will be the 10th most.
10th most person picked.
Let's go.
Boston Bruins, Malcolm Subban.
Wow, okay. I don't think that's going to happen.
Why not?
To be honest, I think there's other goalies to pick, and they're going to go with more NHL-ready ones.
Yeah, if Fleury's available, you probably take Fleury. If
Fleury, Bishop,
Reimer, Luongo, if you can get one of them, you take.
Now, here's what would be interesting for Vegas. Now, I wonder how much they utilize. I assume the cap space they're going to have. How much they utilize that to attract European free agents, like from the KHL and from Sweden and from Switzerland. Because if you sign a free agent, like let's say Bishop, that counts as you can't take anyone from LA.
Yes.
If you get a European free agent, like let's say Vegas goes out and they get Ben Scrivens. Mm-hmm. Unless I'm mistaken, they don't owe anyone anything, and there's one less goalie you have to pick. So you can use that pick that you would have selected, I don't know, a goalie, let's say, and you can go out and get a defenseman that you really need, or a forward that you really need, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, swap Ben Scrivens for some center or some winger or some whatever.
Yeah. No, that's very
Why wouldn't you
interesting.
utilize that?
Yeah, because you have to take one player from each team.
Yeah.
So maximize the guys you're going to choose from by getting some guys from not from those teams.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. And number 9, Michael Grabner on the Rangers.
That's an interesting one. I don't know about all the guys the Rangers have to protect. He's on a 2-year deal, though.
Yeah. Fox wrote that arguably the most interesting name on the list. We have to agree with this New York Post headline on Grabner. Each goal by Rangers revelation is an expansion draft headache. Each goal by Rangers revelation is expansion draft headache. Fast with finish, the 29-year-old Grabner has gone from nearly playing his way back to Europe with a bad Leafs team to lighting it up on Broadway. So his salary is only at $1.65 million.
Very affordable. Even if he were to go back down to 10, 15 goals, I mean, that's what you pay a guy who scores 10, 15 goals.
And he's at 27 this year.
Guy might hit 30. Probably not, but he might hit 30.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how much has he cooled down? Because I seem to remember around Christmas he was at like 20.
Yeah. So if you get him for less than $2 million and he's only a 10-goal scorer, you're like, yeah, that's what we pay for.
And if you're the Rangers, like, okay, that sort of sucks. You know, that's extreme value. But you're losing Michael Grabner, who that's a little bit of house money anyway. You didn't know you were signing a 27-goal scorer. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And you're not giving up a young player in the process. Like, I don't think that's a huge headache.
Yeah, you should be okay with that. This, I didn't even know he was eligible, but the Blues, number 8, Nail Yakupov.
He's been in the league for long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, you give him a shot. Give him a shot. He's probably going to behave himself, too. I mean, you look at all the headaches you could potentially have in Vegas. I don't think Yakupov's a big partier.
Okay.
And there's nothing but potential there.
So you take the guy who's first overall a couple years ago?
It's easier to market, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Number 7, Luke Shen on the Coyotes. I think that...
Oh, because they have a lot of exempt guys.
Yeah, but I also think that's name recognition. Because this is fans, right? Drafting on the cap-friendly tool. I think there's a little name recognition with Luke Shen because he played in Toronto and he's been around the league for so long. A lot of people are taking him that way. I don't
Interesting. Know. Interesting. Well, yeah, it's who on the Coyotes is even eligible.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, Luke Shen's a fair pick. Right-handed defenseman, why not?
Number 6 most taken player, Jack Johnson from Columbus.
I'm sure Columbus would be pretty decent with that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, just Jack Johnson and all his financial issues. Vegas.
Oh.
I don't know if he's a big gambler. I certainly hope not.
Yeah, you probably avoid that.
Yeah, he might not want to go. Well, might not have a choice. I mean, there's a defender who's not that great at defending, but he knows how to put up points. If you're Vegas and you have a shot at that, why not?
Number 5, Nashkanishkov on the Lightning.
Nemesnikov?
Nashkanishkov on the Lightning.
Great player, great young player. I was actually like, is there a player I don't know about? Is he talking about Svechnikov?
I think I got it.
Okay, so Nemesnikov?
Yeah. That's how it's spelled.
Good pick. But as we found out, Yzerman is a wizard, and he will find a way to not give him up.
Yes.
Who do you think the Lightning are going to give up? Okay, they're not giving up that person.
Jonas Brodin, the Wild, number 4.
He's a weird player. Once underrated and now overrated, and I don't even know what's going on there. Yeah, I think the Wild are in a weird spot because if you're Wild management at this very moment, what the hell is your team?
Yeah, you don't know if you're going for it or if you're...
Are you a contender? Yeah. Are you garbage? Are you regretting signing Bruce Boudreau? Are you regretting signing Devin Dubnyk?
Where are they
sitting
you
perfectly fine with
in the standings right now?
I think they're still second in the Central. Oh. They're going to make the playoffs. I think they've already clinched. They've
clinched, yeah. They're in the playoffs.
They've been so bad recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't... I wouldn't... invest too much in your pick for the Wild just yet. I'm surprised he's that high up on the list.
Yeah, number 4. Wow. Trevor Van Riemsdyk comes in at number 3.
Again, Stan Bowman.
Yeah.
Goddamn wizard.
The Blackhawks aren't going to give up anybody. They're going to give up a 7th. And
Which is weird, because don't they have like 6 or 7 guys already like that they have to protect?
They're not protecting anybody. It's already been decided for them.
You know what I've noticed about this list, and the reason that it's definitely going to be wrong? How many defensemen have we named already? So TVR, Jonas Brodin, Jack Johnson, Shen. There's 4.
Yeah. 4 of the 10.
How many defenders are they going to pick? Whoever they get from Anaheim, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I won't interrupt.
Number 2. And Luke Fox wrote after this, not happening. Who do you think it is?
Someone on the Leafs?
Matt Murray.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
That's not happening. Now, is that an editorial? Oh, well, it's obviously an editorial.
Yeah, he wrote that. But it's interesting that everyone would pick him and not just assume that he'd be protected under the cap-friendly stool.
You know what's going to be fun to find out in a couple months? Who is the guy that we said not happening? Who happens?
Yeah.
And we're all shocked. Even though it was the obvious thing and it was out there for so long, we're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Surely it's not Matt Murray.
Because Fleury has to be protected. Unless he says, okay, don't protect me. So, the way it's shaping up right now, Vegas can walk in and say, we want Matt Murray, and there's nothing you can do about it. So maybe. I wouldn't say not happening.
This is very interesting. I got to assume Jim Rutherford had some kind of conversation with George McPhee. I got to assume. And you got to assume that the former Capitals GM would probably like to screw the Penguins. So I don't know.
Yeah, how would that I don't think he would agree to that.
Well, no, I mean the Penguins will have to compensate them
by not saying don't take him, don't take.
Yeah, don't take him. So there were these rumors about.
I wouldn't agree to that. I would just say screw you. I want Matt Murray over whatever you can give me.
What could you offer me for one of the best young goalies in the NHL? And I get to just take him. And so yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever, the Penguins might win another cup. So
the conversation is with Fleury.
Let me throw this out there to Penguins fans. You win the cup this year, and you lose Matt Murray.
Yeah.
How mad are you at management? Are you allowed?
You can't be.
I don't think you're allowed.
You can't be. It's la la la. We won the cup. Who cares?
You just lost the goalie who won you 2 cups for nothing. But you won 2 cups, so shut your face.
If the day after they win the Stanley Cup, they trade Sidney Crosby for Luke Shen, you're not upset.
Now, think you might have gone a little too far.
You have the Stanley Cup. You can't be upset.
You're 100% right.
Number 1, who is it?
Number 1, someone on the Ducks, because they're always rumored.
That's your guess?
Yes.
It's a correct guess. Jakob Silfverberg.
This is who I was going to say. I was going to say Vatanen.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Number 1?
Yeah, number 1 most picked player in Cap Friendly's expansion draft tool after 40,000 users used the service. Jakob Silfverberg of the Anaheim Ducks.
I feel like Vegas is going to be a very strange team next year, especially if they stay healthy. I think health is their depth is going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be terrible. But if they can stay healthy, I wonder how far they can get with 4 second-and-a-half lines.
Literally. Yeah. And like a decent goalie.
Yeah, like a decent goalie and 4 lines that are somewhere between a second and a third line.
And no AHL team.
None.
Just complete garbage.
Terrible. Trash.
That's funny. Yeah.
I wonder, is Reed Duke going to make Vegas?
Maybe.
Because they've kind of put a little bit of marketing around him.
Play soccer by himself.
That was cute.
Yeah,
that was cute. And he's still the only guy they got.
Yeah.
This is all very interesting. I think they're going to be bad.
I did see, I don't know who retweeted on my timeline, but they're hosting tryouts as well.
Are they?
So let me find the tweet from the Golden Knights.
Very interesting.
So their most recent tweet, this was an hour ago, tryout dates for the upcoming season, as well as a complete list of coaches, teams, and other info will be announced in coming weeks. So, lace up your skates, Steve Dangle.
Oh.
You're becoming an NHL star.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to be like that Mark Wahlberg movie about Philadelphia and the Eagles.
I've never seen it.
Me neither. I saw the trailer, though, so I know enough about it.
Okay.
There was a guy in a bar, and he's like, I know football, and then he made the Eagles.
Did he really?
Yeah, apparently.
All right. Well, that could be you.
Could be me.
So that'll be interesting. I thought that was fun to touch on.
Oh, boy.
Anything else you want to get to before the press conference?
This cake.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Quick note. Women's Worlds, the U.S. is dominating everybody after all of that nonsense.
Good news. That's good news. I mean, it would suck if they went through all this and then stunk.
Yeah.
So I'm sad that they beat Canada, but...
Canada took their first lead of the tournament yesterday.
What the hell? They lost to Finland, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to the U.S. and Finland, and then they came back and they beat, I think it was Russia yesterday. So we got a win.
Well, and Russia's never had the strongest team. Finland has had some strong teams on the back of Noraratu on the back end. Oh, boy.
At least we'll get to watch the women's in South Korea.
Well, a few people have been like, hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
You bunch of jerks. And you know what? We didn't talk about this with Greg. The hockey's still going to be great. I mean, the women's is untouched. But the men's hockey, the Swiss league is good. The Swedish league is good. The KHL is good.
They'll find
It's going to be on big ice, I assume. Yeah, like what kind of ice do they have in South Korea? I'm going to go with international ice.
I would, because I'd assume they'd be all new arenas.
Yeah, built for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I would imagine international ice. The players will be right at home.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be great hockey.
Yeah. A long time idea. You just make the year of the Olympics, you move the World Juniors to the Olympic weeks. That's your tournament.
So wait, so you just don't have a World Juniors?
So that instead of the Christmas, you just do it the February.
No,
that becomes your Olympic tournament. Hand out gold medals
instead of the Olympics.
Instead of bringing the men's, you say, okay, our Olympic tournament is under what's World under. That'll 18? Never happen. Under 19?
Under 20.
Under 20, sorry. So you do under 20 for the Olympics. Just like soccer.
Happen.
Soccer's under 23.
World Juniors is a money-making venture, and as Greg talked about, the IOC doesn't like to share.
You just move the tournament.
Doesn't like to share.
Okay.
It's a great idea. That doesn't work.
Fine. Let's do the press conference.
The presser.
Now, where you might be right is they might allow some junior stars, like let's say Jeremy Bracco goes for Team USA, because the teams that load up at the trade deadline in like the OHL, for example, are so deep into a playoff spot that, yeah, they can afford to lose a couple star players for a few weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be okay. I don't know what the hell the options are. Can college players go? They're not making any damn money. So
it's sad.
It's all sad and awful, and I'm most depressed about the lockout.
On Sunday, you watched WrestleMania.
I did.
I saw none of it.
Oh.
Can you tell me what happened and give me a quick review?
Okay, spoiler alert just in case.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert for anybody who didn't see WrestleMania.
So, okay, there was supposed to be a three-way ladder match for the tag titles.
Okay.
Now, New Day was hosting WrestleMania. So I don't remember two of the teams that came out because I'm still getting back into wrestling. One of them was Enzo and Cass, so I was like, yeah, I'm into it.
Okay.
And then the New Day comes out, and they go, by the way, we've heard there's a fourth entrant, and you're expecting New Day to walk down to the ring and compete. The Hardy Boys come back out.
Jeff Hardy is probably top 2-3 wrestlers I've ever watched.
Just because he jumps off shit.
Just because he'll jump off 8 ladders at once and dive and break his entire body and then get up and do it again.
He's Shane McMahon, but better and every night.
Yeah, and actually skilled.
Yeah, and legitimately insane. And none of this doing the sign of the cross. God, he's just like a dog going for a tennis ball. He doesn't care.
No.
They bring out an extra tall ladder. They jump off it, and he just mangles himself and everybody else. And the Hardys win the tag title.
Oh, so they won?
They won.
Oh, what?
They won, and what's great is supposedly they did a pay-per-view for another company the night before because they had to for their contract.
Oh, that's cool.
So they did this crazy match.
Yeah.
And then the next night, they're like, all right, here we are.
Yeah, so that's a genuine surprise for fans.
It was a genuine surprise.
Well, the night before, you're not like, oh,
there was a rumor, but like they might make an appearance, not compete for the tag titles. So.
Yeah, and win it.
So that, well, I mean, if they're going to be in the match, they're going to win it.
Yeah.
Unless some shenanigans.
That's a great moment.
AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon started slow, but it ended up being pretty cool. Some pretty good moves.
Did Shane do some crazy shit?
Shane did some crazy shit. AJ Styles did some crazy shit. AJ Styles is what you start to realize is wrestling has so many good wrestlers, like really good entertainers, but the dream matches rarely ever happen. They like I want to see Roman Reigns, who a lot of people hate for a variety of reasons. I want to see him take on a guy like AJ Styles.
Never.
I just think they're both really great technically.
Oh yeah,
and can put on a great match. What else was there?
It's like Chris Jericho. For a long time, he was the guy who would never hold the world title.
Yeah.
Before he was now big, huge Chris Jericho, because he was such a great technical wrestler. They never give it to him. He's a small guy. He's not the big dude. And then finally, he broke through to that next level where now he can hold all the world titles and do everything he wants.
And him versus Kevin Owens was a good match.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens won that one. Goldberg versus Lesnar was really good.
Was it? Yeah.
And Lesnar won.
Okay.
Well, it was short. It was under 5 minutes, but I think there were a grand total of 4 or 5 different moves used, just 29 times.
Oh, like suplex back and forth or whatever.
I think there were 4 spears, 12 suplexes,
just all finishing moves.
Yeah, and F5.
Yeah. Oh,
and that was it.
That's cool.
Lesnar got speared through a barricade.
Nice.
Like the second they leave the ring, you're like, oh, some crazy shit is about to happen. So, no, Lesnar ended up winning. He beat Goldberg clean.
Okay. Was Lesnar a world title holder?
Yeah, so now he's the champion.
Okay.
And what I assume is going to happen, so at the end of it all, Roman Reigns beats The Undertaker clean. Undertaker leaves his gloves in the ring, which apparently he had done before, so people are like, what does that mean? And then he takes off his jacket.
Okay.
And then he takes off his hat and he does this big outro. It was a little sad.
So he's retired. He's old.
The reason it was sad, and Jim Ross called the match. That was really cool.
What?
Apparently his wife died like this past week.
Jim Ross?
And it was sudden. Like it was like in an accident or something.
Oh, no.
And he still did WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, God.
I know. So, but I know. Sorry to just throw that in there. That. No, I know, but it was anyway. So, Undertaker. I know. Sorry. So again, Roman Reigns. People boo him, but he's good in the ring. Undertaker is not great in the ring anymore. No, he was competent, but like he was stiff and he botched a lot. A lot got botched in the match, and I think a lot of it was just he can't at that speed anymore.
He's 54 or something like that.
He's not just 54; he's 54 and like 6'7", 300 pounds,
and
like
been wrestling for 30 years.
His body's busted. Like, how is he still fighting?
I don't understand.
Ever. Like, that's insane.
How does he walk? Like, it's not even a matter of wrestling. Just getting out of bed in the morning must hurt.
And we don't know how he walks because he always walks slowly. Maybe it's on purpose.
Yeah, maybe he just can't speed up.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some workout videos of him like doing box jumps and stuff, and you're like, oh, Taker still got it. But no, he was sad. Both women's matches I thought were good. They were entertaining.
There's the John Cena Miz match.
That sucked.
Did it?
The match sucked. The story sucked. Everything about it sucked. John Cena sucks.
That was the one mainstream storyline because of Total Divas. Because
garbage.
People who don't even care about wrestling watch Total Divas because it's just a reality show on E-Talk. So that kind of entered the mainstream. We're like, oh, this girl from Total Divas is wrestling and her boyfriend John Cena might propose and stuff like that. The match wasn't good.
So there were 2 huge missed opportunities for heel turns. One was Roman Reigns.
If John Cena went heel.
Yeah. No. Well, okay, you could have made Cena heel, but that would have never happened. No. He's too face to go heel. Reigns, you could have made a heel. I think they started the transition of him going to heel the next night on Raw. Apparently, he just cut a promo where he just goes, "This is my yard now," and dropped the mic, and that was his entire
Roman
promo.
Reigns did.
Yeah, Roman Reigns did.
Okay.
The other amazing opportunity is Cena could have proposed. And Nikki Bella just slaps him and says no.
Oh,
yeah. And they can get married in real life. Who cares? But she just goes, whap!
Yes.
completely
then
leaves him there. And
you
then
have that
Cena's just
line.
crushed. And then he has to walk up an 85-meter ramp.
While everyone's laughing.
Yeah. By the way, it was the longest ramp in WrestleMania history. It was like 85 meters.
Oh, God.
It was insanely
That's
long.
cool.
Yeah.
No, but that would have been, because people love to hate John Cena.
They do, which is weird. It's easier for him. He gets less boos when he comes to the ring and in the ring than Roman Reigns does.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think Patrice O'Neal talked about this a long time ago, and we've talked about this. When you get permission to talk shit about someone, when you get permission to hate, people take advantage of it. And like good people too. You're like, what the hell's going on? People have permission to rip on Roman Reigns. You know who doesn't do themselves any favors online, but people have permission to rip this person so everyone takes advantage of it? Patrick O'Sullivan. I'll just straight up say it. People are over the top with Patrick O'Sullivan. And then I watch Patrick O'Sullivan take the bait every single time, and I'm like, how bad can I feel for this guy? But people have decided, like, there's a small list of people everyone's allowed to shit on with no repercussions. You're not a bully, not nothing. Patrick O'Sullivan's on the list.
No comment.
You're allowed to shit on Patrick O'Sullivan. I'm just saying it. Steve Simmons can be like, I am appearing at this charity event.
Yeah.
And people will be like, fuck you, Steve Simmons. No one gives a shit. Now,
But
he
okay.
embraces it and eggs it on purpose. Sorry. Anyway.
How much, just in general, not any of these specific people, how much is this their
It's
own
not
doing?
even a specific person, dude. It's everybody.
How much is it their own doing?
What do you mean?
That people can shit on them.
How much of it is...
Like,
Oh, the people on the list.
Yeah.
So like Simmons and Patrick O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still a lot to do with it. I think a lot of people bring on criticizable things, but it's weird. Like, it's almost like there's a mental council where we all kind of feel at the same time, oh, wait, we're allowed to fuck with this person.
but
Patrick O'Sullivan is at the top of that list right now.
did that person create that themselves? And are
Kind of.
yeah,
Kind of. But there's something about it. I think there are a lot of people out there like him. There's a lot of people out there like
who
him.
feel the same way and say the same things.
Yes.
Yeah,
But he's at the top of the let's pile on him list.
okay.
And it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even enjoy this anymore. Like, it was cute. It was cute.
That was just too much.
But now I'm just like, and then I see his responses and I'm like, I don't feel bad. And then I see him get it again and I'm like, I feel bad. And then he responds again and I'm like, I don't feel bad. It's a hurricane.
What was the last match at WrestleMania? Was it The Undertaker?
Yeah, Undertaker Reigns.
Undertaker
It
Reigns.
wasn't the worst way to end it. Okay. It was, so the final three matches, I'm like, okay, this is going to be bad. Goldberg Lesnar, which ended up being pretty good.
But only like 5 minutes, you said.
Yeah. It was perfect. I thought it was perfect.
Okay.
Women's six-way for the title. That's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
So it was just 6-way match. Just
It's a
six
six-way
people.
Was
Was it over the rope? Or
No.
just
It was
somebody's got to pin
I
somebody.
think it was one pinfall. So of course everyone's getting thrown out of the ring.
Come on.
I know, that was a little
You
dumb.
can't do a 6.
But that was a
match with one
high-paced, high-octane match, and Naomi won, and she won it in her hometown.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was high-paced. It wasn't that long. It was the perfect transition to the main event, which was Undertaker's send-off, which was not a fantastic match, but
Technically,
the
yeah.
ending was good.
Okay.
Ending was very good. To give you an idea of how exclusive Undertaker's send-off was, the fireworks at WrestleMania are the end, and
Yeah.
everyone knows it. The fireworks happen as Roman Reigns walks off, and then there's like a long silence, and then Undertaker gets his own send-off, which lasted like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Oh, so it was truly special. And I guess that's
Yes.
got to be the end until like 15 years or 10 years when they bring him back, because they bring back everybody.
Like, if there was ever a whatever first ballot Hall of Famer is in wrestling, he's it.
Yeah.
You could argue
100%.
he's the biggest wrestler of all time.
Hulk Hogan.
No,
No?
he's had too many controversies. He wasn't liked by a lot of people. He was a pain in the ass. Racist. Had all kinds of troubles. Like, didn't really live his life well. Had some opportunities. Like, him at his pinnacle, I don't think there was any higher.
Yeah.
But over the course of his career, like, Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Undertaker,
truly, he's a piece of shit human. 100%.
Yeah. Undertaker ran the locker room.
Yeah.
Ran the locker room and wrestled for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm. It's true, yeah.
Hard to touch it. Like, I can't think of a controversy. Maybe I'm missing one.
Yeah. And he's outlasted everybody.
Yeah.
He's been there
some of
with,
that's politics, but I it's very difficult to find anybody who has a bad thing to say about The Undertaker.
Okay.
Whatever his real name is. Mark
I like
something.
that. I like your WrestleMania recap. We should do this every year.
There was a time wrestling was bigger for me than hockey. I used to love wrestling.
I think
it's where all my body image
majority of people in our age range, there's a point in our lives where wrestling is everything.
Dude, Stone Cold.
Yeah.
We grew up in a really good era. The Attitude Era. Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. Come on.
They were allowed to do things on TV you couldn't get away with. They were allowed to do storylines that you couldn't get away with now.
Oh, my God. I'm just old enough to remember Shawn Michaels betraying Marty Jannetty. Mm-hmm. That's like kind of where my wrestling starts. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, come on. Austin and all that. Let's eat this cake. Or do we have any other questions?
Final question.
Yeah,
we've gone like 2 hours.
Shit.
Final question.
Yeah.
Does Mike Babcock deserve the Jack Adams Award?
It's really hard to say. You can't tell me the Leafs getting, let's say they end the season with, what are they at, 93? Let's say they end with 95 points.
Okay.
What is a bigger surprise? The Leafs getting 95 or the Blue Jackets getting like 108? I still think that's more surprising.
Yeah.
He should be nominated.
Okay.
For me, it's not clear-cut enough that I think it's outrageous if he loses. Maybe I'll change my mind on that, but who needs to be nominated? Babcock needs to be nominated. Tortorella absolutely needs to be nominated. And who else? I mean, 2 weeks ago, we probably say Boudreaux.
Yeah.
that's gone.
Yeah. I don't know. Who's going to finish with the most points? Chicago? Washington?
Yeah, like at what point? Yeah, we didn't expect the Blackhawks to be this good again. I think Quenneville deserves a nomination, maybe deserves to win it.
He's never won one with the Blackhawks. He's got one from St. Louis.
When was the last time a coach of a good team that was expected to be good won?
Never.
Never.
It's not the award. It's the team that we thought was bad is now good.
We got to go back and figure that out. Mine, 3 nominees, just off the top of my head right now, so it's flawed and probably wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tortorella, Babcock, Quenneville.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you?
I would agree with that. Yeah. I think that's correct.
I think
it.
Yeah. We came up with the answers together, so of course.
I would like to see it go to Quenneville. Just
I
because
would too.
I want to see it come away from the bad team we thought was bad is now good kind of mentality.
It's dumb.
He's the best coach because he's coaching the team that's playing the best, not the team that advanced expectations.
No, it's both.
And it's both.
It's both. I expected the Blackhawks to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect them to laugh at the league again.
They won the West.
Already.
Oh, it's done.
That's stupid. It's so stupid. They might win the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
I don't know how far behind the Caps they are.
Yeah, I'm not sure how close it is. I'm not sure if it's close. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Let's go eat. I want cake.
I want cake bad. I'm so hungry.
It's 107 to 112. Caps got 112.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they won the West. They won the West. Anyways. Cake.
Yeah, cake. Bye.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.